All right. Well, everybody that's with us, I'm Davey. I'm with Pearagon, and we're excited to have you today and participate with us in our hands-on with HubSpot. We have our special guest, Kyle Jepson, directly from HubSpot out in Boston today. Say hi, Kyle.
Hello.
So glad to have you. Kyle's going to give us some updates here. We got a little bit of time with him, so we're not gonna waste any time. We're going to get directly into it. So it looks like the chat is disabled, but the QA is working. So maybe Alyssa or Vanessa, if you should be able to maybe adjust that. If not, we'll work on it. So thanks for letting me know that. I'll work on that while Kyle's going through some of his updates. We are recording this and we will present it back. So you will get a link to it later on. Let me share my little bit of agenda for today. So we are going to just want to welcome you guys all here. We're going to start with Kyle's updates first. He's going to talk to us a lot about AI, things I don't even have access to, Kyle. That's what's killing me. And so we also have my updates that we'll go through. It's everything from AI marketing, sales, the CRM. There's commerce stuff. There's just, I mean, Kyle, you feel it, right? There's just so much that came out from inbound.
Yeah, it is a lot.
It was more than I can handle. So I'm going to turn the time over to Kyle, let him share his screen, and I will get the chat fixed. And then Kyle, we have a special guest that I'm going to pull on a little bit later, just before you finish, so we can get that rolling, okay?
Okay.
You're like, I don't know what's going on. So,
I have no idea. It makes me nervous. All right. Well, hey, everyone. Oh, go ahead.
You get right into it. Thanks.
Yeah. No, I'll just dive in. I did not test sharing my screen, but it should definitely work. Are we seeing this? Awesome. Okay, so I'm Kyle Jepson. I work at HubSpot. I try to get people excited about using HubSpot. Davey mentioned specifically that he wanted to see SMS functionality and some AI stuff. So I'm going to show you some SMS and some AI stuff. So both of these are pretty new, and actually hearing Davey say he doesn't have access to them makes me realize I should have brushed up on the state of all these things. This is probably a mix of betas and live and coming soon. If there's anything particular you're curious about, I can definitely look it up afterward. I'm just kjepson at HubSpot.com. First initial, last name at HubSpot.com is my email address. Happy to answer any questions you have. But to just hop into a live demo, this is what our new SMS builder thing looks like. And actually, I'm going to back up a step here and just exit. So if you've used other things in HubSpot, like our emails, you're probably accustomed to seeing a page like this. And SMS is designed to look very much the same. And you can see them all here, and you get an analyze tab, so you can see how things are performing over time. You get all the stuff you would expect from HubSpot, except it's SMS. And so if we create a new message, you just give it an internal name. This will only be seen internally. This is if you want to use it in a workflow or something. This is the name you're going to look for. Yeah, I don't know, just special for you. How about that? All you are getting this special SMS here. And then here is the actual machine that lets you build SMS messages. You get this real-time profile over here. And over here on the left, you can type your message. And we have a best practice here. Keep it under 320 characters. That's helpful. We highly recommend including this default opt-out text as just a courtesy to the people you're sending this to. And you can just, type whatever you're typing here. You can see what it looks like over on the right. Something that I think is really cool, and something that, it's really powerful that is inside of HubSpot, are the personalization tokens. So you can pull things from the person's company record, right? How are things going at company name? It'll get inserted there. Also their contact record, like, hey, first name, how are things going at company? But then also super cool, your office location stuff, right? So if you want to include your own company name or address or whatever, you can drop those in as personalizations too. And then over here on the right, where you see the preview, you can do dark screen mode to see, like, if you're putting in emojis or whatever, how that's going to transfer. If you want to preview this for a particular contact, you can select them and then see the personalization tokens get filled in. Once you've got the message set up the way you want it, you can the settings, there's not a whole lot to see here. You can associate with campaigns is probably the most interesting thing here, but the sending tab is the most exciting part. So you have three main options here. Schedule for later if you want to send it a specific date and time as part of a workflow. So if you've ever saved a an email to be used in automation. This is a similar flow, right? You're going to save this and then you'll go build the workflow that decides when people receive this message, or you can just send it now. That's the simplest one. And over here in Send Now, you can choose the recipients, either a list that you've created, or if you need to create a new list, you can do that, or just individual recipients that you want to send it to. You can do that. You can also select which contacts it will not be sent to. If there are certain people you want to make sure don't receive this, again, you can select lists or individuals. And then you're going to choose which property you're going to use for sending this SMS. So by default, HubSpot has a phone number property and a mobile phone number. Are you using the mobile phone number property, or are phone numbers a lot of times mobile numbers? You just choose which one is going to work best with your processes, and then you can just review and send. So that is SMS. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So this is, again, I don't know the status, beta, live, whatever. This is a paid add-on to the Marketing Hub thing. And I should mention too, it's currently only available for companies based in the United States, which last I heard, Utah is one of the United States. That should be good for most of you. You can text people in the United States and Canada. And that's SMS. Something I want to call out too, just as a transition, is our AI tools that we've been putting everywhere are here also, right? So if, you should come to our exciting event, right? If you need a little help revising this, you can just say, let's expand that. Let's make it a little better. And yeah, you definitely don't want to miss out on the electrifying and unforgettable experience awaiting you at our highly anticipated event. Yep, I like that. Good job, robots, right? So that is SMS here. I'm just going to, for the sake of quickness, I'm just going to close this window and hop straight to another one. This is the blog builder inside of HubSpot. I want to talk about AI stuff now. So this is a blog post I wrote. I'm not going to tell you whether or not AI helped me write it. For the sake of argument, let's just say I wrote it without AI help, even though that's a lie. The thing I want to highlight here is, let's say you've worked really hard, you've built a blog post, you have it ready to go. AI, my favorite thing to have AI do is just save you the trouble of busy work, right? You are a creative person writing a wonderful blog post, human to human, you're doing your thing. That's awesome. But very often what will happen is you get to this point, you're ready to hit publish, and HubSpot says, sorry, we can't publish this because there's busy work you've got to do, right? Like a meta description. I just spent so much creative energy writing a blog post. I don't want to write a meta description. Well, how about you just let a robot do that, right? You click the little lightning bolt. There's your meta description. It read my blog post. It decided this was the right thing to do there. Great. We're moving along quickly. Oh, blog title is required. Well, how about I just let a robot do that too? Because honestly, titles are the hardest part for me. Great. Done. I've got a title. A blog author required. Okay, AI is not going to help me with that. I'm just going to select Katie, apparently, because this is not my portal I'm using. And then a featured image is required. Now, HubSpot can generate images. I'm all about honesty with things. I think AI for text generation is chef's kiss. It's going to save you a lot of trouble. I think AI for images has a little bit of room. It still needs to go. But something I really love about this is what it's doing right now is it's looking at the blog post and it's creating a prompt for me, right? So this blog post I've written is comparing Instagram and LinkedIn for content marketing. And so based on that, it is saying, what would be a great image? It would be a split screen with LinkedIn on one side and Instagram on the other side. But if you've ever tried to do image generation with anything involving text or logos, it's kind of often a mess. So I would not recommend in this particular blog post just hitting generate on this. We could do it and we would get lots of results we could laugh at. But let's say, I don't know, I didn't really think about what I actually want to write. How about an image of someone using social media on a smartphone? I have no idea what's going to happen. Let's find out together. Image generation in AI, I feel like it's the Wild West. I never know exactly what's going to happen, but whatever it spits out, we're going to select one just for the sake of moving this demo along. Wait for it. Oh, revel in the anticipation.
Are you using a 14.4 modem again, Kyle?
I am upstairs, whereas I'm usually downstairs. I don't know how well my modem actually reaches this room. So that could be part of the problem here. Man, where'd they go? There was a problem generating images. All right, well, great job. Sorry, that was a no-go. So I'll just upload an image real quick from I don't know, my pictures. How about this octopus that was also generated by AI? I actually generated this using ChatSpot, which is another HubSpot tool, super cool. But anyway, the point is now I can publish this, right? Whereas normally it would take me a while to write the meta description, come up with a title, select an image. AI is really helping me go much faster. And my favorite thing I can do now that I'm able to publish is there is this social option, and I can just have the AI write summarize my blog content, right? And so once again, after you've spent the time to write a blog post, it can be really just a pain to have to like read through that blog post and figure out how to make it fit in a Twitter post. And in this case, it didn't help a whole lot with that anyway, but we could, trim this down a bit. The idea is that you are the AI's editor, and now we have a social post we can send out. So that is the blog and social AI stuff. Once again, I'm just going to close the tab and go to another thing I have waiting and ready. Something I think is really cool with AI. You can totally use AI with chatbots, have it help respond to people. Very nice. But let's say you are a manager of a support team, right? So here we are in the conversations inbox inside of HubSpot. Sorry to be jumping around so quickly. And here's a conversation. I, as a manager, am looking over this, trying to figure out what happened with it, right? I could take the time to read the whole thing. I could do that. Or over in our comment functionality, we now have, I'm just too far away from my router, I think. We now have a summarize this conversation button. So if I just want to know what happened, I can see, here's a summary. Matt requested support and submitted a claim for a scratch issue. He provided his name, email address, and phone number for contact purposes. The customer support team assured him that they would review his claim and get back to him within 48 hours. That's great, right? That's awesome that I just saved myself the trouble of having to summarize this myself. I feel like this is another great job for robots to do. So that's kind of a blog post use case and a customer service use case. The last one I want to show you is a sales use case. And this one I can tell you confidently is not available yet. It is coming soon. I think most of the stuff I've shown you, maybe all of it, is live now, at least in beta. What I want to show you finally, the last thing, I had one tab missing. Shoot. All right. Is AI for anyway, coming soon is we are going to have AI powered sales forecasting. And the thing I really love about it is, first of all, robots are pretty good at crunching numbers. So it's a good job for them. But also, I know people in general get pretty nervous about AI giving them data about their company and wondering how accurate it is. AI forecasting, when it comes out, will not just give you the forecast, but will give you the previous forecast and tell you how accurate they were. And the machines will learn over time and get better. But you can see, like, your January forecast generated by AI was like 48% accurate, but your February one was like 60% accurate. And in March, it was like up to 70%. And hopefully over time, it eventually gets to the 80s, 90s, 100%. So I'm sorry I lost that particular tab, but those are the demos I prepared for you. I'd love to know if there are any questions. Okay, Will is asking an excellent question about whether it'll be chartable. I really want to show you what it looks like. So I'll get it pulled up here. I just got to find it. Oh.
Yeah, one other question, Kyle, about the social media post. Is it LinkedIn too? And I'm assuming it does because you get to choose all the social channels.
Yeah. So the portal I was showing you, I only connected a Twitter account to it. But it works for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn are the 4 that we support in our social publishing. And it works the same across all of those. So
looking into your question. Give us a thumbs up on the chat or not. It's cool. I have to find it. There we go. Awesome. Great.
Cool. All right. Now I've got the forecast thing pulled up. So let me share my screen once again. And there we go. So this is what, let's go over to analyze. This is what AI forecasting will look like. So you'll see over here, AI is giving an upper, a lower, and a most likely. And you can see that compared to what's currently accurately in reality in your pipeline, your commit, your forecast, submissions. But you can see over here month to month, AI projection average, 7-day projection, 14-day projection, 21-day projection, and the percentages of how accurate it was. It's not super impressive in this particular portal because this is just a demo portal where we have a bunch of dummy data that is not real. But the idea is that with your sales team having real data in here, you would be able to see over time whether or not the AI is getting better. So I don't know if that answered Will's question, but this is what it looks like.
So Kyle, on some of the stuff that you kind of went over, I think most of it is available. Some of the stuff on creating the some creation stuff, I think on the AI is not available yet, but I think most of it that you showed is available. And it should be available for most, usually for pro or up, but a lot of it is actually coming to the free, which I think is really cool.
So in general, AI tools are free. I mean, now like our social tools are in Marketing Hub Professional. And so you have to have Marketing Hub Professional in order to use the free AI tools for your social posts, right? But AI is never a paid add-on inside of HubSpot. So in general, if you have access to a forecasting tool, if you have access to the blog tool, if you have access to the social tool, AI is not going to cost you anything additional. It's just going to be sprinkled in there by default. And a lot of our tools, like you look at our free CMS tools, those are all getting these same AI tools in our free CMS. You can generate blog posts and titles and paragraphs and outlines and things. That's just yeah, we're not charging for AI.
Well, that's awesome. Will wants me to let you know personally that it was awesome. He actually messaged me. He wants to know. Thank you for the answer. So
yeah.
2 other questions.
Oh, do we have 2 other questions real quick?
One from Emma and one from Christopher.
Why am I not seeing them?
Oh, in the chat. Do you know when the forecasting AI summary will be available? I can't remember if you mentioned that. I didn't mention that, but let me see.
I don't see the roadmap yet, Kyle. Do you know?
Let's see. I'm just let me check some internal things. I don't know off the top of my head. What is the other what's the other question?
Sure. It's gonna probably come from like a general text number, I believe. Kyle, do you know where the SMS, what if you get to choose the phone number? I think it's bot generated in most cases with the dialer stuff, but we can find out for you, Emma. But
that is a really smart question. I love that question. I can't believe I haven't thought to ask that myself. I don't know.
Kyle's been stumped.
I've been stumped. Yeah, no, that is a very reasonable thing for you to want to know. So here is I don't know. I'm not AI. I can't read this very quickly, but I just dropped into the chat the knowledge doc for SMS. I would hope that would cover that, but if it doesn't, definitely submit some feedback on that page and tell them you want to know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have AI powered forecasting. So this is, it's currently an alpha, which means it's going to be a bit. We don't have any decided dates for even the betas for this. But when I'm speaking with that team, I know it's a feature they want to get out in 2023. That is not a promise, but that is, I think, the goal.
Yeah. Do you have anything else for us, Kyle? I don't want to use it too much of your time. I'm trying to pull in my special guest for you and see if they're willing to accept and jump in. Let's see if they'll. I brought an extra friend with me. Here we go. So Carson's also has a association with us as well. You all might recognize him. He'll be coming out. We just kind of placated to him coming out, but Carson's also going to be doing some updates soon. Let's see this camera.
Was this teased to me at inbound?
There you go. Oh, look at that.
Hi, I love the rubber gloves and the wig. Yes. I'm very excited for Dr. HubSpot.
I am Dr. HubSpot. I am your biggest fan, Kyle. You're amazing.
Oh,
we
it's
love
on
you
the
here.
board.
You are fantastic. And no, I am not Yzma or Kronk from Emperor's New Groove. Slightly different. We pull the right levers here. But I just want to say I'm your biggest fan. I'm so glad to meet you and to see you. And I just wanted you to know that as I was getting my doctorate degree from HubSpot Academy in HubSpot implementation, that you were a real inspiration as one of my professors. You taught me so much in many of those sales enablement courses. So I just want to give you a huge, huge, huge thanks on, again, all that you do, all that you've done, and your goal to help educate everyone on HubSpot. And that actually has inspired me and the Pearagon team to be able to pursue further education and being able to create content to help people to know how to use HubSpot and all the fun new features that are out there. And we are actually planning on coming out with some videos and some content real soon. And again, you have been a huge inspiration for us. Maybe sometime in the near future, we can do some collaborations together, maybe at Inbound or even at Winterbound. That'd be super awesome if we could.
Yeah. Thanks.
So,
No, go ahead.
I appreciate all your kind words. I want to turn them around on you though, because Dr. HubSpot here, I want you all to know, is the mad scientist who taught me that you can embed pieces of HubSpot on your HubSpot dashboards, which is a game changer. So if you've never tried this before, you can embed external content on a HubSpot dashboard, which is something everybody should just be doing all the time. But external content includes URLs from HubSpot itself. So if you want like your sequences tool and your task tool on the same page, why not? Go for it. This is the mad scientist who taught me this, and I'm very excited to see you creating some content, and I'm all in on crossover content in the future. So let's make it happen.
So
Awesome.
let's zoom in there on the jacket there. I just want to show everybody this is where the true fanhood comes in right there. When you have your
Yeah,
own,
my goodness.
that's a sticker, Kyle. So
Yeah.
grateful, super grateful. You can stay on as long as you want, Kyle. Thank you, Dr. HubSpot. We appreciate you joining us. We have content that is probably going to be coming out in the next week or so, and he's going to be joining with that, and we're just excited that he gets to join with us and at this time. So thank you, Carson. Appreciate it.
Catch you on LinkedIn soon. See ya.
Bye.
All right. So let's just get back real quick. So any last questions for Kyle? Because I know, Kyle, you've got some appointments you got to get to, but again, really appreciate you jumping on and sharing stuff. It helps us quite a bit. We've got a ton more to go through, but you hit on some of the fun stuff, I guess, as it were. There's a lot more AI coming out. I get giddy every day because I'm like, oh man, this is going to be great. This is just saving time, and providing value. So appreciate you and appreciate you joining us at this time. And does anybody have anything else for him? I don't see any other questions, Kyle. So I think you did a good job.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me, and see y'all later. See you all at Winterbound, I hope. It's going to be fun.
Kyle, we're going to have you back. I think we're going to do it in January. So we'll get more details about that coming up soon. Winterbound is our own conference here in Utah. Where we try to bring out specialists from HubSpot and our own team and do training for admins and developers. And so looking forward to that. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward for time's sake and get to the next part of our show, as it were. Kyle has jumped off, so that's good. I'm going to now take you guys through a journey of the next set of items for updates in HubSpot. I'm going to share my screen here. What was your name again? Rob? Yeah, okay, good, I remembered. We have an in-person participant, so we're glad to have them here. Let me get to my specific screen. Awesome. Okay. I got to catch up because Kyle stole some of my thunder on a few things, and do you mind moving the chat on? Awesome and perfect. All right. So I'm going to actually talk about, we talked about generation of content, and I'm going to actually share with you all the prospecting workspace that you see here. So what you're looking at, if you haven't already done this, you can go to sales and go to prospecting. This isn't a beta. I do want to take just a second to jump out to finding information in HubSpot. So first off, in HubSpot, if you go to HubSpot.com/new and scroll to the bottom, you're going to see a bunch of lists of like marketing, sales, and if you accordion open those, they actually will show you their roadmap of what they're trying to come out with in this next year. And they update it, I think, twice a year on that roadmap, so you can see. The other thing that you can do individually is just go to product updates underneath your name or the name of your organization, and you go to product updates. In going to product updates, you will see not only the list of updates that are coming out, but also if you click down here, you'll see early access to betas. Some of the things that have been shown today require you to opt in, if you haven't already, to join a beta. and joining in the beta, you can enroll everybody and join that beta. It will then take about a minute and then it will turn on and it will all of a sudden give you all of this information. If you all haven't seen, there are a ton of betas that are out right now. So go and join those betas. They're considered, so sometimes in public beta, HubSpot will just pull it up and shoot it to you. And others you have to come here and actually enroll in that beta. And then you'll actually see it when you come into HubSpot and you click into something like this, you'll see that it says beta or new. New means that it has passed through HubSpot and become fully public, whereas beta means that you have to opt in order to participate in it. So we're going to go to the sales prospecting tool. This is brand new, and I myself am getting used to this tool and how it works. But if you are a sales team member and you have opted into the leads beta, you will not. So first off, opting into the prospecting tool will give this to you, and then you can opt into the leads beta, and that's what I want to kind of share with today. If you haven't already seen the prospecting tool, it gives you kind of like your to-dos that you can click into. I think in our last update, we discussed this a little bit, but you can click in and kind of see what your to-dos are and your tasks, who you're working with, what sequences you have going, and it'll see your full schedule. This is the test org. As you guys see through most of the information I'm going to share with you today, it's not going to have a lot in it. We have a little bit of data just to kind of placate what's going on, but there's very few items in here. So you can see I've got a few emails and whatnot. But the coolest tool here is the leads tool. So if I go into the leads tool, I actually left this blank so you can kind of see how it works. It's going to turn on and say, hey, welcome to the leads tool. And then you have to click to start using the leads. And you have to make a decision that at this point, where you want leads to be pulled from. And it's going to ask you based on your life cycle stage. This may require you to make some changes to how you look at life cycle stage. So right now, if I say, oh, I want to pull my leads, everybody that's in sales qualified, lead, or in maybe marketing qualified, I want those to pull in. Oh, that doesn't pull in any leads for me. Let's pull an opportunity. No leads. Subscriber, customer. There we go. It'll pull a lead in now. Oh, they've entered this in the last 30. Let's go 180 days. Perfect. So it's going to pull them all over, and then it's going to ask me another question. Bring the leads into prospecting automatically. So it's going to try to go out and try to grab those over time now moving forward. So I say, hey, moving forward, I want you to pull in everybody that's in this grouping moving forward, and then set the life cycle stage when a lead is associated. So when a company or a contact is associated to a lead, the setting will control which life cycle stage it should move to. So let's say I have a company and that company progresses from lead to sales qualified, and that's my progression. If I now want to associate that that contact, let's say that contact has moved to from lead to sales qualified, I want all the other contacts and the company now to move to sales qualified within the process. It just allows it so that you're not having orphans within a company or a contact left behind. This may not fit for you because you may be doing, your organization is reaching out to contacts based on multiple departments at a group. So if you're reaching out to IBM has a lot of departments. If you're reaching out to IBM, multiple departments, you probably don't want this to work. You want to individually move people from lead to sales qualified. That way they'll stay as a lead because maybe there's an individual you're reaching out to, okay? Or if you're just working off of contacts and you don't really work in companies, then this won't matter at all. You can just turn this off. All right, so it's done. We're ready to go. Prospecting tool, create. Okay, so it has moved in to the prospecting tool. This requires a little bit of setup as we come here. You're going to see that everybody's in is new. You'll see attempting and connecting. You're like, where do these reside and how do they come about? We'll come to that here in a second. You now have a box and you're like, Davey, this looks just like a list that I've created on HubSpot. Oh, not the same, my friend. It is a little different. Now, if I click into Jennifer Lee, it not only keeps my information here of where my leads overview is, it actually opens up the record. And now look, I've got these pretty little statuses as to where I'm at with them. This is truly a leads tool instead of just a contact tool. This should make everybody excited and clapping. For those of you who are trying to figure out, how do I get my sales team to work in just the leads that I want, and how do I separate them? But I also want to track stages that they're going through. And I want those to automate certain stages. And that's what this does. So right now, Jennifer Lee is in here and they're a new prospect. And I can move them from new now to say, look, I'm attempting to reach out to them. And now I'm at a new stage and I can see that I've got people in attempting, I've got people that are new, and they're moving through this process as we go along. I also have the action items here to make a call or send an email. So if I say create an email, I can now create an email that's going to go out to her. And what's nice about this is you'll notice that I haven't left my prospecting at all. I'm in the same place and I'm able to send an email. If you were on a list, you couldn't do this. So this is this new feature and functionality. Now, in order to, so you can look, I'm sure you can think of 1,000 ways to use this, and I'm not going to go over all of them. But what's really cool is if we go into it, now I've got new features in my settings associated with this. And this is kind of where the magic happens, as it were. So I'm going to my objects here, and you'll notice there's a leads object. It doesn't say new, but it's now available in HubSpot. So I'm going to open up leads, and I'm going to see that same setup that I had before, but now I'm going to see lead stages, and I can create automation based off of those stages. So if I'm reaching out to somebody, I can move that. If it's attempting, I can change which stage they're at when they reply. So maybe I'm reaching out to them, and if there's an email, I can say, cool, I've connected with them on that email or a phone call. And I can add stages. I can put what's in progress, what's qualified. Look at this. I can require a deal to be created. So if I move them to qualified, I say, hey, you've got to create a deal now. Well, what's really cool is that when you have now with required fields in deals, I can tell my individual people, say, oh, now you have to create a deal because you qualified them, and here are the fields that you have to fill out for that deal before it actually creates it. And then if I disqualify them, oh, great, now give me a reason as to why they disqualified. Again, just adding more data and data enrichment to your organization. So now you can kind of see like why things progress, how they're progressing, making sure data is clean as you're progressing it to a deal. So if I go back to my little prospecting tool, we can click the little back button here. And I go into Jennifer Lee, and I'm like, Jennifer Lee needs to move to a qualified. Look, there's my deal. And look, here's my required. I've got to move. I've got to do the stage. I'm required to put some data in. I can require even associations and the company that are associated with it, which is really cool. We're not going to get into that, but you can require those fields as you're creating a deal. Pretty freaking awesome. So I'm going to create that, and now I've got my deal for her. Boom. Qualified. Nice and green. All right. So now I can go back and I can get a summary of everything that's going on. And again, I can go back to my leads, and I can be in my leads tool, and I can kind of see how I'm doing. Pretty awesome. Any questions that have come up from everybody? I don't see any questions in the board. I do not have the chat pulled up. I should probably pull the chat up if I knew where it was at. There's the chat. Chat is up. All right. No questions. Awesome. We're gonna move on. Oh, my screen zoomed in. Okay. Pretty cool tool. I think it's awesome. There's other items on this for scheduling and for the feed, and yeah, we have so much to go through. All right, let's take a look at sequences. Sequences have been upgraded. They've got a few more items related to them now. Mostly it's around the reporting module that you see here. So I'm in a sequence specifically calling cadence, which is under automation. I did get a question real quick. I want to answer it before I move on. So on the prospecting tool, how did I get those leads in there? If you noticed before, leads were set up based on the lifecycle stage itself. So I set the parameters under settings that that said if it's marked as lead as a lifecycle stage, create as a lead in here. So it's based on lifecycle stage. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, let's move on. Bob, you're here in person. Rob, any questions so far? Okay. Just raise your hand and we'll talk. Okay. So let's get over to the reporting tool for sequences. So sequences now has a little bit more information. It can actually tell you how much revenue has been generated from it, and it's giving you bounce rates. Before it used to just give you meeting rates. Now it's giving you deal rates, your no response rates. And so it's giving you a little bit more detail. And then it's also looking at steps and how each step is doing within the process. So calling or emails, what's going on? So after we've made the call, did we get a meeting? After we sent an email, did we get any other clicks or replies that were associated with it? What's also really cool is if we go directly into the steps, I think this is cool. Oh, we don't have it on this one. We're going to add it in. So I'm going to add in a automated email and a new thread, and we're going to pick this trade show conference follow-up. You'll notice now, if you turn on the beta for this, you can, this is version A, I can add an A/B test, and I can add another email and say, this is version B and this is version A. And so now I've got two versions, and it will split it up 50% of the time. So if I send it to 100 people, 50 of them are going to get A, 50 of them are going to get B, and I'm going to get analytics back as to whether or not which one is producing more replies. So before market, this is really great in marketing, because marketing be like, send out these two emails, see what's going on. Now I can do it in sequences too, and see as a sales rep which one of my sequences is working the best, and then really push people to that one, and then make adjustments and adjustments and adjustments. And you can do that for each stepped email throughout the process, not just one thread, as it were. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, we're going to move on from sequences, just more data in there, more automation, more power. If you're not using sequences, I think they're one of the #1 tools as to why I moved from being a Salesforce guy to HubSpot, was the fact that I had sequences where I could have a CRM that had marketing, but also had this power of communication from a sales rep perspective that I couldn't get. I had to go to a different tool like Pipedrive or something to try to get some of this automation, but Pipedrive wasn't big enough to handle everything that I wanted in my organization as well. So, okay, let's move on to Journey Analytics. Oh, this is awesome. So we're going to talk about some reporting tools. So just make sure that I hit on all the highlights. I've got some notes here on the side. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Cool. Awesome. So there are a couple of new reports that are out. So one of the first one that I want to show is this Journey Analytics tool. So this is a Sankey. So the way that you get to it is you just create a new report, and you have to create a Journey report. And then you're able to pull in, and it has all my pipelines. So this is just for deals. It's just the pipelines. And I get to pull in the pipelines and the steps that I want. And then it tells me how things are flowing through. Now, in my case, everything flows from one to the next. But in others, it may take a different track on where it's going. This type of reporting helps you see what tracks people are falling into, where they fall off during certain deal pipeline scenarios, where they just kind of stop and end and move immediately over to like a close loss scenario. So you can kind of see how they move along as they progress. So this is looking at a short amount of time. Let's look at total for this year, and we'll refresh the report. And let's just see if it gives us any new data. It probably won't, but let's see if it does. Okay, just a little bit more information. Mind you, I'm looking at one pipeline. So maybe you change pipelines and people go from different pipelines, and you can add in those extra items to kind of show where people maybe progressed in a different way. I don't think this will really change anything. Again, limited on reporting. So I hope there we go. It shows some different aspects of where it's jumped. So kind of a cool tool. They have this not only for deals, but they also have it for the lead journey. And that's under some other analytics that are associated. So there's also a new, we're going to kind of kick back out of reports here on this one. And I'm going to go over to a different reporting area. So I'm under the new reporting like bar here on yours. It doesn't show it like this. It shows like reports and like create new report. Now it clicks over, and I usually just click on reports, and now it says, oh, what do you want to look at reports for? I want to look at sales reports. If I click over to sales reports, I get this wonderful little dashboard. It used to be analytics, so it includes a lot of the analytics that were in here. And you'll notice now I get this lead funnel report, which helps to show me how my leads now are progressing. So this is specific off the leads and my prospecting activities that I'm performing on. So my number of associated meetings, my meeting ratio, how am I doing with those prospecting activities that are associated? Also, I want to jump down and actually give you guys a little bit of the deal funnel report, which has been updated as well. There's one new thing that you'll show on here. One of the hardest things for people is I want to see how things progress, and I want to see how they progress even if they skip the stage. So the way that you used to see a funnel report before is you say, take me through the entire funnel of the deal journey. And I just want to see it kind of like this. Going through, and then how are you going through each stage, and what's the conversion to each next step? Now I can go through deal stages and see those that have skipped and still see my conversion. That's how they're going through each of my pipeline stages, and really see where people are skipping stages and how they're skipping. And then more important, and then I can come down here and get a little bit more detail about that and which ones actually skip the stage and look at my deals. Really cool report. And then I can add this report. I can go ahead and now create it. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Did that wrong. I'm doing this live, so I'm a little off. There we go. I can save the report now, and I can add it to an existing or to a new dashboard. So if you're like, hey, Davey, I want to keep going to I want it to my dashboard. That's how you do it. You need to save the report. Okay. You'll also notice there's some additional filters over here as well that you can use. There's a number of these items that are over here. Specifically, the deal funnel is one of my favorites in the new skip stage that's come out. But you can look at other things like sales outcomes, velocity, average deal size, push rate, waterfall effect, historical snapshots. I would come in and I would play with all these. And more importantly, if you look at it and you go, Davey, I don't know what a deal pipeline waterfall is. This looks really cool and looks like it'll help me in some way, shape, or form. And I'm sure if I was really nerdy, I'd know what it is. And you can go to about this report and read everything about how to use this chart, where it comes from, terms and definitions, and how it is used. Pretty cool. So you're not a dummy, because not all of us use deal pipeline waterfall. So I wasn't even introduced to this till like 4 years ago, and I was like, oh, this is powerful. All right, let's move on to our next item. Do we have any questions? Okay, great. Okay. Will says, wait, will we have waterfalls here and elsewhere? So I think you have to have Sales Pro in order to have this feature for analytics, Will. And then and Kyle Adair is sad because he really wants Sales Pro. So is it in the CRB? Sorry, Will, you're gonna have to define what CRB. Oh, custom report builder. No, the waterfall is not in the custom report builder. So these are analytic tools that HubSpot's custom made directly in here. So if you see these report collections, these are typically not things that you create directly in HubSpot. If you have Sales Pro already, Kyle, then it's probably it might say analytics on here and not reports. Is that what you're seeing? If not, then you'll need to you can go over and get the beta, which will be under the product update, and go find the beta, which will then update this, and you'll have this little nice sales tab that's here. All right, Kathy, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being on. All right, let's move to the next item. Don't worry, it's recorded. You can go back and watch it. All right, forecast. Forecast. Forecast has a lot of different things. So he talked about the AI forecast. I'll be honest with you, the beta isn't out yet for it. I was really hoping that it would be, because they're saying that it has a 96% like probability, which I think is pretty cool. So what it's saying is if you put data in correctly, it's going to pretty much guess your forecast correctly, which I think is awesome. But what's really cool in here is this is a new feature. So when I'm looking at an individual and their deals and what's going on in the forecast tool, which is underneath sales, you'll be able to now get a little bit more insight as to my goals and what I'm doing over here, and get a little bit more granular, especially on the deals that I have and how they relate to my deal amounts. You'll also see more information about the forecast submission, the gap. So the goal, the gain, the gap, you'll need to go and edit goals if you need to individually. And there's a ton of goal stuff, and there's a ton of other information about that. Just go dig around in it and you'll find it. And then you can look at things based on the deal stage as it relates to it, or the forecast categories. This is a category of like best case, pipeline, and commit. So where people put it into their forecast category. You'll also notice that individuals, this has been around for a while, but you can actually submit your own forecasts. I'm going to close $1 bajillion this year, right? And I can submit that forecast so that my boss can take a look at it and say, yeah, you're crazy, or yeah, you're right. Okay. So those are just some of the forecast items. That's really all I want to focus on for this portion of it, because it takes a lot to go into all the details with forecasting. So, but go make goals, go play with it. And when the AI tool comes out, it'll give you a lot better info on where you're at in meeting your forecasting goals. This also deals with things like these forecast categories. And I think it's based on stage as well. That's what the deal stage is talking about. So you can see all the different deal stages and where they're at. Okay. And the percentages you put to them. Kyle's right, man. Of course, I'm closing $1 bajillion million. So $1 trillion. All right, let's now move on to AI forecast all pipelines. Oh, yeah, you can actually forecast now on all pipelines, which you can go through all of them. And then on your forecast category, I believe, yeah, you can select multiple, whereas before you had to like only pick one, which is so nice. So you can pull everything up and see how Davey is doing across all the pipelines. This was a challenge before because you'd have to assign them to one pipeline and then look in each pipeline and have to assign them goals for each pipeline. Now you can total it up together for revenue. Okay. All right. We are moving into, deals. All right. So you guys have probably noticed, and if you're in the, I don't think it's a beta, I think it's public, but this information here is brand new. You're kind of like, yay, more information on deals. So if you're working in either the Kanban or in the list view, you will get now this deal information, your total deal amount, your weighted deal amounts, your open deal amount, your close one, your new deal amount, and your average deal age. My average deal age is amazing, 404 days, guys. That's how I roll. I'm an 18-month closer. So I actually worked for a company that was a real deal. They're like, how do you feel about sitting around for a year and a half close cycle? And I was like, that's really sad. How do I feed my family? But it was real. It did take a year to close, but it's because I was working with trying to reach out to the top 100 companies in the world, and that made it hard. So a year and a half is a pretty good sales cycle for that. But what's really cool about this, just gives you some more detail. What's also available now, and I think it's in beta or it's available now, but when I click on preview, and here now, you actually get a little bit more in your preview information about the deal and what's going on. So you can actually work within it to see the activities that are associated. And it just pulls in a little bit more information than you could before, which is kind of neat. The activities is probably the biggest update to this, because before you'd only see fields and associated items. Now you can see the activity and see the last communication that you had with them before reaching out, which is really nice. This is visible here and as well on the Kanban. The Kanban's a little bit different. If I click directly on it, it'll take me in, but if I click inside the box, then it pulls up that deal information. Pretty fun and awesome. All right, whoa, super zoom. All right, next, we are cruising along. Guys, we're doing really good on time. This is great. All right. Conversation. So I think Kyle already hit on this. So I think we can skip this one, but this is just about doing that summary. I left it open here because I turned on the beta and I just wanted to see, like, the beta gives you some information on what you can do. I think this is the coolest thing ever because I just want to be able to do highlights and get assistance, and I want to summarize all this cool stuff that's going on. So it looks like I have to turn on the AI tool directly in it, which is another thing to be aware of. HubSpot wants you to be aware that by participating in AI, you're actually doing some machine learning, and data that you may provide could be stored elsewhere. Dun, dun, dun. So if you have a pretty rigid legal team, be careful before you turn on AI, as they may not want you to expose general company information. So that's my disclaimer.
Are you reading this? So that's
No.
I was like, where's your?
You didn't know that? This is what happens when you worked with a bunch of lawyers in the past. So okay, I doubled this up. I know. I went to lawyer voice. All right. Sequences we already talked about. We're gonna go over to Paul's test now. I had to find a live org so I could do this. Oh, this is so cool. All right. Let me close out of this real quick. All right. So now in scheduling, I was like, oh, why is it such a big deal? I used to think that this was kind of funny, that I was like, look, you can book for other people now. And I'm like, no, glad you can do that. Just send them the link. They'll be fine. And I have one other thing to show on deals. We'll come back to it. But now you can schedule on behalf of people, and people are like, why is that important? Well, because now when you schedule, it not only saves that you were the scheduler, it saves who it was scheduled for. Whereas before, if it's scheduled, you couldn't see who actually booked the meeting. This actually shows that you booked the meeting, which is kind of cool. So what it does is now, instead of saying, oh, the person that I'm not the host, I want to go to my meet, and then I can choose somebody else. I'm like, oh, it's going to be Davey, or some other person in here, Perry, who doesn't have his connector. But what I can do is I can go to this Handson HubSpot. because I have a meeting rotation that's set up on one of my systems. I have a thing that says, hey, I want you to rotate my meetings. And I say, oh, on this one, because I'm booking it, I want it to rotate to the next person that should receive it as if they went to the form itself to fill out the meeting link. I want it to go to whoever the next person would be on that form. So now I can go over to Handson HubSpot and boom, it connects it to Vanessa. She's next in line and it pulls up her calendar and I get to book time now with Vanessa. And it will show up on her calendar with whoever I add as the attendee and we're off to the races. Pretty freaking awesome. All right. We're going to jump back to deals real quick because I missed something. I can't believe you guys let me miss this. So it's really small, it's insignificant, but it's powerful. You guys have, I think last time we talked about deal tags now have colors to them. So not only are you going to be looking at conditional items for deal tags, so these are, hey, it's overdue, meaning that it's been sitting in the pipeline for too long. And a tag now has been associated that says, this is overdue. This has been in more than 1 day ago. Like the close date was more than 1 day ago. You need to do something with this. And it's color coded, so it's easier to visualize and go through and pull it through. Not only can you filter by this through an advanced filter and look at, I think they're called labels, right? Tags, deal tags. I can now say, oh, I want to look at I only want to see those that are overdue and apply that filter. I can now see colors that are associated with it. Kind of a pretty cool thing, so that you can tag and focus on deals that are relevant to you, deals that may have urgency or overdue. Missing data is what I really like to use it for. So, hey, you're missing something in this deal, let's update it. Or letting you know that maybe it's progressed in some way. Or if somebody was coming in just looking at all deals, they want to pull up the certain ones that they need to focus on. So not only by filtering, but maybe seeing additional tags that are associated. Okay. Maybe it's something that's bright and goes, you're missing something. Okay. This is what's keeping it from progressing. All right. Next item is playbook. Playbooks have taken a big growth aspect recently. And that is in, I don't know if you guys, well, first off, if you're not using playbooks, you've got a big sales team or service team, playbooks enhance everything that you're doing. It allows you to tell people, this is how you should be doing your process when you're reaching out. So this is a call playbook. This call playbook specifically tells people, here's how to conduct a discovery call. Here's what you need to be asking people, right? As part of it. So put this information in and it can fill it out on a field directly on the record. More importantly, these are now available, not just for, they used to be just available for contact, deal, and tickets. They're now on company and any custom object. And you can set up settings now to say which object you want to recommend this playbook for. So say, hey, when somebody is working on the milestone record, I want to create a rule that says, oh, love the zoom feature that I've got. I want to add a filter and I want to create a category that says a milestone property is, it has a due date and the due date is known. That's what we're going to put it as. Awesome. Close editor and I'm going to save the rule. So now the rule says, hey, due date is known under that area, right? So I'm going to publish this. And now I'm going to go over to my custom object for milestone. Actually, just for fun, we'll go over to contacts. So contacts has playbooks, and we're going to pick on a contact here real quick. Eleanor, Shellstrop, The Good Place. Such a good show if you haven't seen it. Oh, please tell me I have playbooks on here. Do I have playbooks on here? Let's see. Oh, there they are there at the top. All right, so there's my playbook. And this one's recently used. This one's frequently used. And you'll notice here, now we're going to go over to our custom object for milestones. And I'm going to just pick a milestone, any milestone. Look, I only have two. Let's pick this one. And does it have a due date? It does have a due date. Look over here at playbooks. It is now recommended. It pulls it to the top. So now instead of scouring through, searching for a playbook, it pulls it right up to the tip top space so I can focus on it. That is pretty neat. I'm just going to look and make sure that I'm not missing anything else for playbooks here that we were going to talk about. So All right, so advanced playbook recommended. There is now, oh, this is kind of cool. It's the small things that make a big difference, guys. So the other item now in your playbook that is available is, oh, we should have actually done it. What's the wrong place? When you go into a playbook, we're going to go into our call playbook. Let's go to our notes. You'll notice now that I have snippets available. So if you have little items that you like to pull in as part of your notes, you can now use a snippet that pulls it into the notes area. And for some reason, my how to fix a knob didn't come in, but it would pre-populate in here. I probably have something that's broken. Probably wanting me to select something. Yeah, it's requiring some stuff before it pulls the snippet in, because the snippet is probably related to it. So when the stars are aligned, it will work. It'll pull that snippet in for you. So, all right. We talked about playbooks and custom records. We've already talked about that before. I think I've got one more thing here. I think it's actually the same thing. Yes, this is the last thing. And so get your questions ready. If you've got any, because it's the last thing we'll talk about, and it goes by really, really fast. This just came out like it's a beta, so you got to go to the little beta tool we talked about and do it. It is the report generator. It's the report description generator. I have reports, and I have reports that are pretty funky, and they've got a ton of information on them. And sometimes I don't know. After I built it, I look at the report and it says something like quarterly numbers, and I'm like, oh crap, I don't know what this is for. And I delete the report because I can't remember why I even created it in the first place. And if I go over to the about, I can edit the description, and I have to turn on my settings real quick. We're going to do this because I want it on because I think it's so cool. I just have to turn on my AI, custom analysis. Cool. Everything is on. Cool. All right, let's go back to the dashboards. Back in time, back to where we were at. Go to our little pivot table here. I'm gonna click on the view and filter. It pulls this up. I go to my about. I go edit description, generate a description. Now, before anybody, everybody's gonna be able to read it. Before you read it, and I'll zoom in on it. You're probably looking at this going, project, ad hoc, plan, active, complete, pause, project status. Cool, this is awesome. What does this mean? This report provides a pivot table that shows the distinct count of project IDs based on project type and project status. It can help you understand the distribution of projects across different types and statuses, allowing you to analyze and track project performance. For example, you can see how many projects are in progress or completed for each project type. I'm going to tell you guys right now, this would take me 30 minutes to probably write. So I'm one of those guys. AI has saved my life.
I still want it to be shorter, but it's very.
If you regenerate, how?
It'll just regenerate a new. Yeah, and it looks like it made it even bigger. Cool. All right. Some of them get a little bit shorter, I've noticed. Just depends on this one.
To be short. Can you do that?
No, it just generates it.
I could on my social.
So what?
I could.
Tell it to be shorter.
Marketing AI when you're writing social.
Oh yeah, marketing AI can do it. On this one, this one's a little bit longer just because it actually has a lot of information associated with it. If it was just 2 scenarios crossing, I've noticed that it's a little bit shorter. This is a little bit long from what I've seen. So now I can save it. And one of the things that I don't know if I've got a report that doesn't already have a description in it, because some of these come from, these are already generated on most of these. Oh, here we go. So let's try this one. Oh, pretty much the same. Insights into your total amount of closed deals in the homeowner. So, but you could shorten it yourself, right?
No,
Pretty good information.
it's good to start with that.
Yeah, and especially if you're looking at it going, I don't know where the number, maybe you don't know the filters or where the data is coming from, because a lot of times where we get lost in reports is we don't understand what the information behind it. This actually exposes that information and tells you. So, okay. All right. Any questions before I sign off on this? Because we actually have a giveaway. Bet nobody knew that. I think Alyssa has our giveaway stuff. So if you're on here, hold on, Carson, can you run out and get my stuff? So we attended, let me stop sharing my screen so I can see myself on here. All right, cool. we attended Inbound, a few of us from the Pearagon team, and we brought back some really cool swag. So we'll send you a couple of things. We'll mail this to you, or you can come pick it up if you're local. But if you're out apart a ways, we'll reach out to you and get your address, and we'll mail this to you if you're able to attend or not. And maybe you don't care about this giveaway anyway, either way, but you're going to get it. So Alyssa has set up a little thing to randomly draw somebody. So let me show what the prize is. I see the socks. Boom. Oh, I got it. There we go. You can see it. HubSpot socks, branded. Think bigger, partner better. And they're really long, which I really like. I'm a sock guy. All right.
What size is shoes are
These are for these are unisex and unisize. So they stretch pretty good. They're nylon. So
very stretchy?
all right, made in Texas, designed in Texas, manufactured in North Carolina, in case anybody's concerned about it. And a bunch of other cool HubSpot stuff will be sent to you as well. And maybe a sticker of Kyle since you joined with us. So, all right, Alyssa, give us the spin and tell us the name of the winner. It is spinning, spinning, spinning. Rob is really hoping.
Bettina.
Bettina!
Oh, she did?
Oh, she jumped off.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
she's
jumped
gonna
off.
get it anyway. So we love Bettina. Bettina actually worked for us before and we love her. She was awesome. And I'm actually really excited to send it to her. So this was totally not set up. It's totally random.
I
So
know.
out of like 35 people. So that's great. Any other questions? Will, you asked about the waterfall earlier. I think we're good with that. It's so rigged, Kyle, so rigged. So again, this will be sent out in a recording to everybody. So if you want to get more information, we'll send it out to you, but really appreciate everybody attending. Always check out our website, Pearagon.com, and our blog. We always post new things. If you're not following it, follow it. Follow us on YouTube. You're going to see Dr. HubSpot officially get launched here. You'll find them on LinkedIn as well. So if you're not following us on LinkedIn, follow us on LinkedIn, and you'll get more and more of these updates. If you're not following Kyle Jepson, follow Kyle Jepson. He gets the most recent information and seems to beat us all. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining. Rob, thank you for joining us in person. And we look forward to talking to you guys next month with more AI that's coming out, and I'm sure we'll get released. So thanks again. Have a great day.